Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday Meditation, The Joy of Sitting. This hour is dedicated to mindfulness practice and meditation. And as you arrive, if you could let me know that the volume is good, maybe with a thumbs up or an emoji, that would be amazing. And also, if you have questions or concerns about meditation or topics that you would like to have included in tonight's meeting, please let me know by writing in the comment area. This meeting is, there's some rules, of course. There's always rules, aren't there? So I don't allow you to be a part of this Instagram video just because it gets a little bit too much for me to manage. And also for those of you that visit my website, which is artofconnectionnow.com, that's artofconnectionnow is one word.com. You can, sign up to be a part of this community. Go to the Monday meditation. It'll guide you through the whole thing. And then you can participate in the Zoom meeting. So this is being recorded on Zoom, and also it's available here on Instagram Live. There will be other things that come into being as time goes on. I'm in the final stages of publishing a book that I'll talk more about as time goes on. Tonight, what we're going to focus on, starting off, the theme of this week is kindness. And the most important person to be kind to, of course, is yourself. And that's not about being a narcissist or egocentric. It's about recognizing that whatever we do to other people that are unpleasant activities, the person that's harmed the most is you. And so being kind to yourself isn't just how you treat other people. It always has this backflow part of it that it always comes back to you. And if you're kind to others, it's a way of being kind to yourself and vice versa. So we'll talk more about that. And then following our opening talk, we will do our opening meditation of the evening, which is a spaciousness meditation. The spaciousness meditation is inspired by an ancient Soto Zen meditation called Shikantaza. And we'll talk more about that and do that in just a little bit. Following that, we will talk about stress and ways of alleviating stress. And following that, we will do a meditation. And the first part of that, our middle meditation of the evening, focuses on releasing stress and really learning how to utilize your sensitivities in your body in order to really deepen your practice and also to free you of stresses that encroach on your life. And following that stress release, we're going to piggyback on that, our heart centering meditation, which has its own lovely aspects that I think you'll enjoy. Afterward, we will talk some, I'll talk some, hoping that you'll be there for the conversation. And again, if you have questions or concerns, please write in the comment area. This last talk of the evening really focuses on unpleasant emotions and ways of dealing with them. If they're older emotions, we'll talk some about that. If it's present time unpleasantness, we'll do some work to alleviate that. And that's our final meditation of the evening, is this ancient practice that is inspired by a very specific teaching in Tibetan Buddhism called Lojong. And embedded in that is this incredible meditation called Tonglen. Inspired by that is a processing of unpleasant emotions meditation that we'll do, and that's our final meditation of the evening. And then we'll take a look at what we did, and we'll close our evening with an adaptation of the Beauty Way prayer from the Native American Church. Now, one of the things I hope that you'll see as I talk about what all is going to be in our meeting, is that earlier in my life, I was very hungry. I had an appetite to learn, not just about Buddhism, but one of the things that really whet my appetite was every time I heard the term loving kindness, whether it was in our Western theology or whether it was teachings of the Far East, that term loving kindness, whenever I heard it, my head pivoted. I was looking, what was that? Where do you find that? And what does it look like? How do you get there? I had all of these questions. Again, I was hungry. And so over time, little by little, I found a little here and a little there. And then eventually, I found what I was looking for. And these teachings of loving kindness are both sacred and profound. And what I'm also saying here is there are good teachings in all of the great traditions. You might not find all of the different flavors and savory aspects of spirituality that you desire, but you can find a little here and a little there. And if you keep looking, you will find your path. I am a pathfinder, and I help people to find their path, to wake up from needless suffering and to find happiness in their daily life. If you're interested in any of that, please get in touch with me. And all of that aside for the moment, let's go ahead and launch our meeting. And if you're wondering what I'm drinking, I have a cup of hot green tea right here. Okay. So first of all, when we talk about kindness, there are some very basic humane things that I see people do. That's very common. And at the same time, it so touches my heart to see people offer. I went out to do a little grocery shopping and take care of some things earlier this late afternoon, early evening before class. And while I was coming out of this parking lot, a man in his car stopped. They were at a red light. When the light changed, he stopped and waved me on. What a wonderful thing to do, knowing that being in a parking lot, it would be hard to get out on the road when there's so much traffic. And so that kindness, because I recognized that, was meaningful to me. And I waved to thank that person for that. In the supermarket, don't you see the same thing? Maybe one person only has one item or two items, and you say to them, would you like to step in front of me? And I have so much. And they'll either say yes or no. It's not forcing, it's offering. And in this offering is where the kindness takes place, isn't it? On subtler levels that aren't so subtle, one of the things we don't generally consider is that everyone has their own life. And there are challenges in our human existence. There is this human experience, there's a human condition. And in general, when people behave poorly, something's going on for them. Now, when they say or do whatever it is, it may seem very personal. And yet, what we don't know is what was going on over there. What was that about for them that they were dealing with? And that was an expression of it that led through, and we just happened to be there. It's common to take it personally, and not as common to question what could possibly be going on in that other person's life that could provoke them to behave in this manner. And we all have sensitivities, don't we? And so when that person misbehaves or acts in a way that we take personally, there's more than one side of that. There's their behavior or misbehavior, and there's also how we took it. And we all have sensitivities. Where in our being did we feel that? And so what's kind to us as the individual and also kind to others is to give everyone at least a little bit of compassion. what could possibly be going on for them that they would behave that way. And it doesn't mean it's your fault. They would be going through that whether you were there or not, right? And probably it would be the next person that happened to be the person that received that. And if you can hear it and hear their pain, their misery, the hell that they're living in, it changes things. And it also changes something for you when you grant or give kindness. Because when you don't take it personally, when you recognize that something's going on for the other person, the person that gets the greatest benefit of that is you. And also, when you get pissy and angry and all of that, who has to live with that the most? That's you. So as we go through tonight, I'm just asking you to take a look at what you're living with and the impact that you live with. And so, how do you be kind with yourself? So part of being kind with yourself is taking an inventory. What is going on? What are the stressors? And maybe taking a look at, well, what can I do about this? What can I do about that? I can't do anything about this. I can't do anything about that. But if it's something from your personal history that's bothering you, whatever it may be, old news, or maybe present, or maybe present that's compounded on top of the old, then maybe it's timely to be kind with yourself and find a way to work it through. The old saying is, happiness is an inside job, but you don't get a free pass. My dad used to say, there's no free lunch. So if you're going to get there, if you're going to really get past whatever was part of your personal history, the only way to do that is to work it through. What were the parts? What were the feelings? What didn't get to be said? What didn't get to be felt? How did it all go? And then if there was trauma involved, emotional trauma, what lingers? And what part of you needs care, needs kindness today? So that's this opening talk for today, is to really take a look at your kindness towards yourself. And part of kindness is, if you have goals, working on it with due diligence until you have achieved your goal, whatever it may be. And goals and the fulfillment of those goals can have various different parts, and that may deepen over time. So I don't mean to be too esoteric or obtuse about any of that, but there's so many different parameters that go with any specific. Just a personal part. I just completed writing a book. Now it's at the editors. It may bounce back a few times. And it took me nearly, let's say, 4 years, almost 5 years to get to this point. So it's not published yet. And then, what follows after that and what follows after that. So there are different rungs on the ladder of fulfillment of any dream. I hope that you have your dreams and that you're able to fulfill your dreams in a way that brings you joy and happiness. Let's go ahead and do our opening meditation of this evening this meditation is called the spaciousness meditation. And we're going to do this meditation. So we're going to do this meditation. I call it the spaciousness meditation because the theme of the meditation is observing, excuse me, observing the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within. So it's always a good practice to do certain things when we're starting a meditation. First of all, very gently moving your body, repositioning your body on the surface that your body's resting, and very gently allowing your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And taking a slow and gentle deep breath in and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. And this type of breathing is called a diaphragmatic breathing by the type of deep breathing in which you experience your shoulders, chest, and belly wall expand on your inhalations and release on your exhalations. And as you focus your awareness on the experience of breathing, in addition to experiencing the way that your shoulders, chest, and belly wall expand on your inhalations and release on your exhalations, noticing the warmth and the coolness of your breath. You might notice that on your in-breaths, your breath seems cooler, and on your out-breath, your breath seems warmer. And also, if you notice in your awareness that your in-breaths seem drier and your out-breaths seem moister, allowing your awareness to experience the way that your body movement, the expansion of your shoulders, chest, and belly wall on your inhalations, and the release on your exhalations with these various qualities of your breath and breathing, warmth and coolness, moist and dryness. And additionally, beginning to be aware, to allow yourself to be aware of your heartbeat and your pulse that travels throughout your entire being. Noticing the way that your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, these various qualities of your breath, and your heartbeat and your pulse that travels throughout your entire being. Additionally, allowing your awareness to notice the way that your thoughts and emotions arise within your being. Noticing the space that you experience your thoughts and emotions within. Continuing to be aware of the way that your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within. And as you notice this space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, noticing the way that your thoughts come and go and your emotions come and go. Some stay, some linger. Some thoughts and emotions convert into fantasies or images, dreamlike images of your day or what you hope for or dream about, whatever it may be. Still noticing the space around your thoughts and emotions. Continuing to notice the way that your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, the expansion of your shoulders, chest, and belly wall on your inhalations, and the way that your breath is released on your out breath, the beating of your heart and your pulse, and the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and beginning to notice within this space that your thoughts and emotions arise within this gentle calm, this calming sense that's always here. Beginning to soften into this calm while continuing to be aware of the way that your body movement Accommodate your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm that's always right here with you. Softening that much more deeply within your calm, while continuing to be aware of your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this sense of calm that's right here. Softening that much more deeply into this calm, like resting after a hard day's work, resting into your calm and allowing your calm to saturate your being. And as you soften that much more deeply into your calm, notice how the ease that that gives you in being aware of the way that your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm that's always right here with you. Softening that much more deeply into your calm and taking another moment to unhook and float and drift within this calm, this ease of being. And taking another slow and gentle deep breath in and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, slowly moving your wrists and your ankles, and gently shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck and your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open and notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before. And if you feel a little different than you did. If there is a difference and you're enjoying this difference or curious about it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. Let's see here. Wonderful. So let's see now. Let's talk a little bit about sensitivities and your body and everything. So in this teaching, what we're asked to look at is where we experience impact. Now, in the ancient ways of looking at things, there are four bodies. There's the physical, the mental, there's the emotional, and spiritual. Some people might add more to that. Let's keep it simple and just stay with these basic four for tonight. So when things happen, let's say you're driving down the road and you hear some brakes screech, and you look in your rearview mirror and you notice that nothing's coming at you personally, but you see two cars beginning to collide. And that sound, where do you experience that sound? Now, some of it's in your ear, some may be here in your chest, some may be in your gut, and there may be aspects in your thoughts. Oh no. Whatever that is, impact. Notice how impact is registered, is experienced within you. Now, this particular methodology that I will teach tonight and guide us through this evening, I use this name. And when I was taught this, it wasn't given a name. I was just taught how to do it. And over the years, it has been incredible. This ancient teaching that I call a body-centered mindfulness practice is said to go back to the time of the Buddha and perhaps before. This body-centered mindfulness practice is a way of healing the mind-body split and also helps if you're working on the issues of personal integration, which can be very difficult as you become whole. We become somewhat fragmented when we don't want to feel our unpleasant feelings, when we push away, when we react, when we use what we learned that were emotional survival skills from various events in our life that may not be consistent with where you are in your life today. Also, it might not be consistent with you learning how to be kind to yourself. So, this body centered mindfulness practice gives us a way of scanning our body and seeing where our stress and all of that resides within our being, the location and content. Over time, you begin to see more and more deeply into these impacts, where you experience them, how you respond or react, and certain choices that you may see that you made in terms of triggering, getting triggered. How did that happen? Was there a choice? So for tonight, in a moment, we're going to go into this body-centered mindfulness practice. And as we get through it, piggyback on that is a heart-centering meditation that is incredible. Incredible what it gives you that you may hanker for. So let's see how we do with it, okay? Once again, and always with meditation, it's always a good plan just to gently readjust your posture. And as you're ready, very gently allowing your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And taking a slow and gentle deep breath in and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Beginning to scan, to feel on the inside of your being, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts reside, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. And sometimes we grab our thoughts, we grab our feelings, whether our feelings are emotional or physical, and allowing your love to work for you and through you by giving these locations and content a very warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And tightening your embrace just a little bit more in order to give these locations and content a very open-hearted, full-hearted, warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And softening and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your entire being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. And softening into this experience of release. And scanning once again from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts reside, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. And this time, giving these locations and content the gentlest of embraces, the gentlest of warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embraces. And softening your embrace and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your entire being. And gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this experience of release. And allow and softening into this experience of release. Taking another slow and gentle deep breath in and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. And scanning your body one more time from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts reside, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small, no matter how subtle, no matter how insignificant it may seem. And this time, just the lightest of touches, whisper soft, barely touching the fringes of these locations and content with a warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting contact. Barely touching. And softening once again and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your entire being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. And softening into this experience of release. And very gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to the dull ache in your heart, the doorway in. And you know this dull ache from many times throughout your life when you felt it. You might be aware that this dull ache is always here. The doorway into your heart is always here. And leaning backward into this dull ache in your heart, leaning back more and more into the doorway into your heart until you somewhat plop inside your own heart. And allowing all of your senses to register the experience of being on the inside of your heart. And noticing the place within your heart that your love always arises from, and allowing your love to flow through you and around you, and allowing all of your senses to register this pure love that lives within you. And softening it into your pure love and allowing it to saturate your being. And beginning to notice essences of your love that live within your love, like musical instruments that are part of the symphony of caring and kindness and compassion. And also this incredible, rare, and beautiful vibration, this vibration of connection that lives within your love. And you know how precious it is to connect with a person, place, or thing. And also the experience of wanting to connect when it isn't possible. And allowing your vibration of connection to flow through you and around you. And allowing all of your senses to register this pure connection that lives within you. And softening into your pure connection and allowing it to saturate your being. Noticing how fulfilling it is to experience this pure connection that lives within you. And taking another moment to unhook and float and drift within this magnificent experience of pure connection. And taking another slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, slowly moving your wrists and your ankles, gently shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck, your arms and your legs. When you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open and notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before, and if you feel a little different than you did. If there is a difference and you're enjoying this difference or curious about it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. Waving back to Jake Rolls, great to see you here this evening. Thank you for being here. And so if anyone has any specific comments or concerns, themes that you'd like to include in tonight's meeting, please write in the comment area and I will do my best to include them. Let's talk a little bit about our emotions and what happens when we stuff them. And remember, the theme of this week is kindness. What do you suppose that does inside of you if you stuff your feelings? They might be good feelings that you don't want to share because maybe it would be embarrassing. Or there may be unpleasant feelings that you don't want to create a scene, but you're feeling this. And maybe you don't know how to get back to them subsequently in order to process them, but you start to notice that the world that you live in is getting smaller and smaller. And there may be other things that begins to happen in terms of your openness, your ability to have fun and enjoy your life. So by processing your emotions, by finding even a very simple way of processing some of it, it makes life easier and easier. Now, there are many levels of processing through your emotions. And in my life path, I've had the good fortune to learn quite a few different styles. At the end of the day, though, there's only so much emotion that you may have stuffed. And even if it takes a while to work it through, you're worth it. Every time you work through even the smallest amount of it, it's a gift of love that you've given to yourself. And little by little, life gets better and better. And you find that you have more compassion for yourself and this human experience that you have, that we all have. Of course, yours is yours, mine is mine. But nevertheless, we experience pleasant and unpleasant emotions. All of us do. So in a moment, we're going to do some processing of unpleasant emotions. Now, this particular methodology, this particular processing of unpleasant emotions is inspired by these ancient teachings that go back to Tibetan Buddhism and were brought to Tibet about 1,000 years ago. And they've lived out, they've become available over all this time because people liked them. It felt good to have something you could do about this that didn't imply hurting someone else or yourself, but was actually a kind thing that you could do for yourself and also for others. So this particular methodology, the ancient word for it, so first of all, the teachings it comes from that are part of Tibetan Buddhism is called Lojong. I call it the daily practice of loving kindness. And this particular meditation is called Tonglen, which means giving and receiving because it involves the breath. Now, you know when an unpleasant event happens. Maybe you have to jam on your brakes in traffic and noticing the tendency to fly into a rage or worse, whatever it is for you. But you notice the impact. Where do you feel it in your body? Is it physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, all of the above? More mental, more emotional, you decide. We always pick the very worst emotion of all of the emotions that you're feeling. Pick the worst one, the most unpleasant one. And the reason for that is this. If you pick the worst one and things get better, you know you didn't make it up. And you already feel better. So then you could tackle ones that might not be as consequential, might not mean as much to you. So let's go ahead and do this. Once again, pick the very most unpleasant emotion of your day or week, whatever it was for you. Now, again, with meditation and all of that, just gently repositioning the way your body's resting upon the surface that your body's resting, and very gently allowing your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. On the next in-breath, breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience and human condition. Breathing it into every pore and cell of your being. And on the out-breath, breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Continuing to breathe, leaving your eyelids closed, and considering if we had some magical device capable of measuring all of the qualities and distinctions of human emotion, of everyone on this plane of existence in this moment. How many people, even though their circumstances may be vastly different than yours, how many people would measure so close to yours in terms of unpleasantness and types of unpleasantness? How many people would measure so close to your measurement, to your unpleasantness, as to be undistinguishable? One other person, maybe 10 other people, perhaps hundreds or thousands, maybe even millions of people feeling so similar to your feeling as to be indistinguishable. And on the next in-breath, breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself and this human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them and yourself and this human experience. Continuing to breathe, leaving your eyelids closed and evaluating. Do you feel any more compassion for yourself and this human experience? And do you feel any more compassion for others and their human experience? When you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open. Notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before, and if you feel a little different than you did. If there is a difference, and you're enjoying this difference or curious about it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. Taking a moment to wave back to foreign object, thank you for being here. And also waving back to blissful mind journey, thank you for being here. Wonderful to see you all tonight. So let's take a look at what we did tonight. We started off with a talk about kindness, and that's the theme for this week, kindness. And kindness always starts with your kindness toward yourself. Afterward, we did our spaciousness meditation that gave us this incredible gift of this sense of calm, that's in the space that our thoughts and emotions arise. Following that, there was our middle talk of the evening was on the body-centered mindfulness practice. And then we did the body-centered mindfulness practice, and piggybacked on that was our heart-centering meditation, which included this incredible, meaningful sense of connection within our own hearts. And then following that, we I talked a little bit, the final talk of the evening was on unpleasant emotions, what happens when we stuff our feelings, and the hell realm that creates for us. Following that, what we just finished is our processing unpleasant emotion meditation in this incredible sense of compassion for ourselves and our human experiences. And that brings us to this moment. So we're about to close for the evening. If you have any questions or concerns, any specific items you'd like to include in tonight, please let me know. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and close. What I'm doing right now is, because this meeting, I don't yet have the single source multimedia setup app that's on my to-do list. I could use some help with that. And so in the Zoom space, I changed the virtual background to be that of the Milky Way. So we always close these meetings with is an adaptation of the Beauty Way prayer from the Native American Church. So these teachings, the Beauty Way prayer, it always with the Native American Church includes the directions, because in the Native American Church, the directions are sacred. And the way that it works is that, when the sun rises, you can say, oh, that's where the sun rose, and that's where it's rising, it's there. And because the sun always rises in the east, except if we're at the North or South Pole, then as the sun rises, we can see where east is and where west is. And also, then it lets us know where north and south are. And so the teaching here is, if you know what the directions are, you know where you stand. If you take that and then internalize that idea, if you know where you're going with your life, your direction, you know where you stand. What's the next step? And then the one after that. And who are your resources to get there? What's your resources to get there? And meditation and mindfulness practice are incredible aids, no matter what your direction is this lifetime. I'm waving back to Doc Elliott, rather. 5-7. Thank you for being here tonight. Great to see you there. And this prayer, this Beauty Way prayer, invites us to look at these directions and beauty and what is beauty. And so if we look at more of an eternal theme and a more than just global, but stellar, all of this, our planet is in the Milky Way and all of that. So I use the Milky Way as a metaphor, partly because the Milky Way is so vast, so huge, that it transcends our understanding. It's so beautiful. And also its longevity is so huge that, again, it transcends our understanding. But it isn't to diminish us. It's to remind us that we're a part of something that's so incredible that it transcends our understanding. So as I say these different directions, see if you can expand your awareness to include that part of the Milky Way or whatever your source of beauty is. That's in each of these directions. Beauty that is in front of us. And beauty that is behind us. And beauty that is to the left of us. And beauty that is to the right of us. And beauty that is underneath us. and beauty that is above us, and beauty that is all around us. And it is essential to remember the beauty that is within us. Dear friends, there's a word spoken in the language that the Navajo people speak that means walk in beauty. This word is pronounced Ojunahaslein, and 3 is the sacred number. Ojunahaslein, Ojunahaslein, Ojunahaslein. Dear friends, walk in beauty, and please always remember that you bring the beauty with you wherever you go. Walk in beauty. Namaste, Visho, many blessings, and walk in beauty.